I'm Carol Keller, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the U.S., coming to you today with my usual Tuesday live. I had some technical difficulties with the phone, with the technology, the real technology piece, and then obviously some with handling the phone itself. But I think we're all good now. Today, we're going to use the All Together collection. It's been quite a couple of days. I had issues, which I'll explain as we go along. I was thinking I was going to have to change up the project till the last minute here, but luckily that did not happen, and I got things to work and it was a go. I'm going to turn my camera around right away so that we can get started with the project. Here is the card, and I cannot take any credit for it because I got the idea from another demonstrator by the name of Darla Watson. We have a closed Facebook group for demonstrators, and she posted several cards there, but this was one of them. And I copied it almost exactly. I made a couple of little changes. I used different paper, and she had one heart where I added 3, but pretty much it's her design. So, which is unusual for me. Typically, I will change things up more, but I loved it, so I didn't do it. So let me show you the components of the All Together collection. Here is the stamp set we're going to be using, and there are some dies that cut out the hands, and then this one says here for you, and then there's one that says you matter, and it's not in here because I want to show you something as we go along. And then I also used the scalloped contours dies, which are my favorites. I used the second largest one of the rectangles. Love those. I'm happy to say those will be in the new catalog because I love the stamp set and the dies. And then this is the All Together 6x6 Designer Series paper. So the other demonstrator used a different one from the one that I used. I think she might have used this one. And I decided to use the hearts. So we've got some hands. And I love this. That goes along with the stamp. And then the other side, again, still black and white with some geometric shapes. And this one, some more hearts. I love this too. I love both sides of this one, which makes me sad because I'm going to want to use it twice as much, right? It's so hard when they're two-sided. But anyway, that is the Designer Series paper. And then I'm also using the classic matte dots, and these will also be continuing into the new catalog. But the stamp set and dies that I just showed you, the Here For You dies, are only available until May 2nd or while supplies last. And the same thing with that Designer Series paper I just showed you. The other part of the collection is these blends. And there are 5 different sets of 2 blends, and I have 4 of them, so this is 4 of them. And they're meant to be used for skin tones. So we have now a wide variety of colors that we can use for skin tones, which I think is beautiful. That's why it's called the All Together collection. So I used one here. I used one of the lighter ones. I think we're going to use one of these on the current card so you can see some of the differences. I didn't really do any shading. I didn't use more than one color, but I don't think that matters too much. So, but so these will be available in the new catalog. We will get started. It's a pretty simple card, even though it wasn't simple for me, because I was having trouble with the die that cuts out the words you matter. But we'll get our card base, basic white. And what happened, I put some adhesive sheets on the back of a piece of basic black cardstock because I thought that would be the easiest thing, is to use the adhesive sheets, peel them, stick them. It's great. But I had trouble because there are a lot of little tiny sections that need to come out of all of the letters. And some of them were not coming out completely, and it was tearing. So I tried it a couple times and it didn't work. And I thought maybe it was because it was too thick with the adhesive sheets. So I tried it without the adhesive sheets. Had the same problem. There were 2 or 3 places, and I was working on it yesterday, and it was kind of a rough day anyway. I didn't sleep well, and I was really tired. And I finally said, all right, forget it. I'm going to have to think of a different card. So then I was stressing out last night and didn't sleep much either because I was worried about what card I was going to do. The struggle is real. And as I sat down here to do it after work, I thought, let me try one more time. So it worked, obviously, because the card is here. It worked. Fourth time is apparently the charm because that's how many times it took me. And I ran it through 4 times. So back and forth and then back and forth again, 4 times through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And it was without the adhesive sheets on the back. So I do want to try it again with them, but I didn't have the time to do that today. So I also cut out, like I said, the Scallop Contours die, again in basic white. And I have a piece of the Designer Series paper that I cut down just a little bit to create, so there would be a white mat around the end, around the edges. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, or if you're in metric, 10 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters. And that we're gonna just put, I think we'll do that right away. We'll lay that right on there. And I will warn you, my Stampin' Seal, it looks like it's almost out because I can see the red in there. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but hopefully it will be enough to last. But honestly, the way things have been going the last couple days, it will probably run out. Oh well, we'll just deal with it if it does. So I'm just centering this. And I think, yeah, we'll center this too. We could stamp first and put the other stuff on, and which is, I stamped last, but I put the You Matter on there before I laid it on the card, but I don't think it matters really. I was thinking of bumping it up with dimensionals, but then when you put the hands on, it's going to be, they would be sort of floating in the air, the arms, and I didn't think that would look good, so I didn't do that. So let's do a little bit of stamping. I am just taking, I have a scrap of basic white and my Memento black ink pad and the hands that form the little heart. I love this. Like I said, it matches the paper that I showed you. And we're going to bring, ooh, it's moved over more than it should be. All right. Oh, that's good. You can still see. Just checking my computer over here. So took the ink to the stamp and we're going to stamp it, and then we're just going to cut it out with the die. Whoops, we're going to try that again. I don't think I stamped it evenly. And as we all know, that's why paper has 2 sides. Because if you saw, well, maybe you didn't see, but on my other one, I had the same problem. That's better. So then I'm going to bring in a scrap. I'm going to take this out of the way because I already die cut it. You run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss or your mini cut and emboss and cut it out, which I did. But I'm going to bring in a scrap because using the blends, they bleed through a little bit. So just to make sure, honestly, it doesn't usually show, but I always, just to be on the safe side, I do that. So I'm going to use one of the darker blends just so that you can see the difference. And all I'm going to do is take the brush end and color. I did, if you notice, colored the fingernails a different color. I used my light real red blend because I'm using the dark real red for the hearts. And so I wanted them to coordinate for just that little tiny pop of color. It's hard to see, but it's there. I thought that was pretty. I'm just going to color right to the edge. And then the same thing on this side. So those are our hands. And then for the You Matter, I'm going to bring in, like I said, I ran it through my machine 4 times. And what I did was take it off of the paper, but leave it in the die. And then I took my Take Your Pick tool. We're going to make a little bit of a mess. And it was easiest, I found, if I kind of took out the little in-between pieces before I pulled it out of the die. That seemed to work today. You know, I don't know if it's that. See, this one even is, let's see, grab that. I don't know if it was that or the fact that I ran it through more times, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. I do have another one here that's cut, but that's all I did was punch out as many of them as I could. And then you take the die out, or the, excuse me, the die cut out of the die by just putting take your pick tool through one of the holes to get it started and then pulling, and it'll come off if you pull carefully. But I'm going to move that out of the way and move the little bits here and bring in the one that I already die cut. So I was thinking, honestly, I was going to have to call Stampin' Up! And get a replacement because I thought maybe it wasn't sharp enough. But I really do think it just needed to go more times through that machine. So I am, like I said, going to try it with the adhesive sheets too. But because I don't have those, we are going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue on the back. So all I did was just put a little bit over here and take my sponge and dip and then put it all across the back. And it did, this is, you know me, I'm not a big fan of the mess of this, and it did kind of peek through. There are places where you can see adhesive, so when it's really dry, I'm going to take my adhesive eraser and see if I can get some of it off. I did get a little bit of it off. Whoops. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit more right there at the end. Make sure it all sticks. And then we're going to carefully lift it. It does want to come apart a little bit, but I just sort of placed it back together when I put it down on the card. See, it's pulling apart, but if you're careful, it won't come apart. So let me pull the card in, and we're just going to angle it. I think I'll move it this way a little bit. So I'm just going to start with that M and just kind of press as you go, and then it puts it back in the right place. And then the same thing with the U. Press it till it catches, and then we should be good. So yeah, even here it looks like there's a little bit of paper in there, but I think it'll be okay. And now all I did was take my Stampin' Seal again and put some on the back of this and layer it so that the edge here was flush with the edge of the card, and whoops, so that this side is right there. Whoops, move that just a little bit. There we go. So I thought that looked better. And then I did some stamping with the little tiny heart that also comes with the set. And actually we can probably do this the other way because it's little. And so I just did one here and one here and here. And then I also did several on the inside. So I just did 2 together and then one up above a little bit. And so that's the inside. Now we're going to take my light real red Stampin' Blend, and I used the pointy end, the writing end. Just colored in those fingernails a little bit of attention to detail. And then for the dark, or for the hearts, I'm using the dark real red blend and just coloring those in. Last but not least, we've got those matte dots, and I just used the black ones this time with the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. And I think it looks a little heavy at the top. I think we need some down at the bottom. What do you think? I think we'll change it up just a little. Maybe put one here, and maybe the 2 small ones up this way this time. There's really no right or wrong way. Yeah, I like that better. It's a little bit more balanced, I think. And that is it. That is our card. And I know I did say too that I was actually planning on using the What's Cooking bundle today and making a scrapbook page. But sadly I realized, I looked on what we call the inventory status report and found out it's already sold out. The stamp sets, a lot of the stamp sets are sold out that are on the last chance list, which that was. And so I didn't want to show you something that you couldn't get. So that's why I switched it and changed it up to this, and then almost had to change it up again Like I said, it's been that kind of few days, but it all worked out. Glad I was able to do it. I like that. I like that shade. And I think I'm going to fill in here a little bit more and even it out on this side, but I really like that. So you got this instead, but I like it. And like I said, the blends will be in the new catalog, and so will the matte dots, but the other things, and the scalloped contours dies will, but the stamp set and the 6x6 designer series paper and the Here For You dies will be only available while supplies last. I think that's it. Oh, I know what else I wanted to show you too. I have my bundle bonus going for this month using the Butterfly Brilliance bundle. Butterfly Brilliance bundle bonus. Say that 3 times fast. What bundle bonus is it's a program where if you purchase the bundle, in this case the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, by the end of this month, I am going to send you the components to make both of these cards, because these are the 2 that I made for this month using that bundle. So if you're interested in that, reach out. I have a host code going if your order is less than $150. So a little commercial for that. And the video is available on my YouTube channel for how to make them. And they're both in the same video. Usually I do 2 separate ones, but I combine them this time, partly because they use similar components and partly for time reasons. So, but that's it. Thanks so much for joining me. I so appreciate it. And I will see you again soon. Take care, everyone. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.